Today we're joined by Briar Prestidge, and she is the founder of Briar Prestidge International and the producer of Deals on High Heels. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Fabulous. How are you?
Good, very well, thank you. Do you want to kick us off by talking us through your morning routine?
So, my morning routine. Well, I'm a bit of a night owl. However, the first thing I do when I get up, it's about 6 a.m. in the morning, is I will walk to the jug, flick the switch and get ready for my coffee. I will jump in the shower, and then after I've had a shower, I look at Google Alerts, so I see what all the latest industry news is on digital, on blockchain, on AI, on leadership. And then while I'm getting ready and doing my makeup, I listen to an audiobook. So it's a pretty intense morning, but it gets me started, and then I hop in an Uber and go to work.
There's a lot to do before you get to the office.
It is, yeah.
And do you want to tell us about what you do and your company?
So what do I do? So I run an influence building agency. So essentially we are a new age PR agency. We work with top CEOs, we work with top leaders, we work with an international best-selling author, and we essentially build their influence. Now we do this through a range of traditional PR, through organising their speaking engagements, to building their brands online. So obviously social media is a huge part about what we do.
Amazing. What would you want to tell entrepreneurs that might be a bit hesitant about trying out a new field?
Just go for it. You know, I think nothing ventured, nothing gained. Myself, I come from a business development and a sales background. Prior to getting into marketing, I started it on the side, realised I had a huge passion for it, and ended up getting my digital marketing diploma. And you know, if you don't go out there, if you aren't doing something, if you aren't investing in your learning, then you know, you always wonder what if. So I think it's very important for entrepreneurs out there who do want to get into another profession, do the market research, start putting in the hours before work or after work, you know. Think about who they'll have to know to get into the industry. Maybe they could even take a pay cut and go work for another profession, for another company, and get a bit more hands-on experience prior to jumping ship. But I think, you know, at the end of the day, you can sit there and you can always question, oh, I want to go out, I want to start my business. But if you don't actually just take the plunge, then it's never going to happen. So yeah, go for it.
Perfect. And you sound like a very busy woman. You have your own talk show, do a digital marketing agency. How do you balance that all with your personal life? And
what personal life? No, so I think, you know, you really do have to make sacrifices when you are running a business. For me, I don't necessarily go out partying or brunching or anything like that. For me, when I am spending time or when I am having downtime, I like to spend it with my nearest and dearest, or I like to spend it by myself. Because I think sometimes, especially in business, we're out there, we're giving so much energy to people, we're constantly moving, coming up with new ideas, and you know, I think entrepreneurs naturally are quite crazy individuals, I would say, and you know, I think it's really important sometimes just to stop. So I like to spend my personal time reading some audiobooks, or even just chilling on the couch, watching some YouTube, watching some insights about, like Joe Rogan, for instance. He's great. I love his podcasts. And yeah, and then when I'm working. I try to have the mentality of working smart, not hard. And I think that's really important, especially when you're like us and you're creating lots of content. We're always thinking, okay, we've created this content, now how can we reposition it? How can we repurpose it? And how can we save ourselves time?
Definitely. And what is the importance, in your opinion, of having a strong social media presence in business today?
I think it is super important. Whether we like it or not, social media is here to stay. And I just, you know, even CEOs, for instance, are coming on Instagram. Even CEOs understand the value of building their brands online. And lots of them are now waking up in the morning and thinking, okay, great, I've got all this influence offline, I need influence online as well. So, you know, obviously in our profession, we work with a CEO, a chairman of a sustainability company, for instance, and part of our strategy for social media to rise them above the noise has been to start various podcasting and video campaigns. So we can actually pick out the leaders of, of the sustainability network here in Dubai, that he wants to, perhaps collaborate with or do business with, or he thinks they'll be very beneficial people for him to meet, and we get them on the show. So then it turns into this business development while also building his brand and sharing his expertise, and then we can tag all the leaders that we're getting involved on LinkedIn and then share it out to the community. LinkedIn here in the region is the most connected out of anywhere in the world. So chances are, if I go onto your LinkedIn profile, I'll know a huge amount of your followers and your connections. So if we, for instance, take a picture of our meeting today and put it up on LinkedIn, then we're reaching a magnitude of people in Dubai for free, right? Which is awesome. Same on Instagram. Instagram's only getting bigger. There's 800 million people, I think, on Instagram now. Like, it's a huge amount, and everyone's spending their time there, a lot more time there than in their email and in their inboxes. So I think it's very important for many different reasons to be building your brand online.
Definitely. We're all on social media all the time now, aren't we? So,
yeah.
You sound like a very busy woman, and like you've done a lot of things. What do you think is your biggest achievement to date?
So, biggest achievement to date, I would say, working with the people that we work with within our organisation. We don't work with everybody. We're very selective about who we work with, and I think that has been great. We work with a government agency, which is really exciting. So we're doing lots of awesome work. And I would say another thing that I'm really proud of is when I started my business. So I got fired from my job. I walked out of my job. I had 1 month's salary in my back pocket. And I was like, right, I'm doing this, I'm 100% all in. And yeah, I guess that was a proud moment. Also as well, working, so I'm originally from a very small, tiny little farm in New Zealand with the cows and the sheep. And since then I've moved to Australia, I moved to New York, I moved to London, I moved to here. And I think if you could see the farm that I came from, you would understand that that's a big feat as well.
Oh, you've made it in the big city now.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big city girl.
Sounds like you've had a lot of challenges to overcome. Is there a certain moment you think that was the biggest challenge you've had to overcome to get where you are today?
Biggest challenge? I wouldn't necessarily say I've had a huge challenge, but at the same time I think everything I do is a challenge. So, the way that I address challenges, I guess, is just to break them up into really small, systematic steps. Obviously as an entrepreneur, there's always times where you're like, what am I doing? What's my existence? That sort of thing. You really question who you are, but then at the same time, challenges, are always under the benefits that are out there. So yeah, I wouldn't say there's been a huge challenge that I haven't pushed past.
Little challenges every day.
Little challenges every day.
And what is it you still would like to achieve with what you do?
So I've got huge aspirations. So one thing that I'm doing this year is going to publish my book. So it's on building a brand and reputation. Another thing that I'm working on at the moment is my sunglasses label. So I've got a trip to Milan in May to sort out suppliers and to start getting our designs all organised and all manufactured. As well, I'm working on another fitness fashion label called Tights. So I'm the head of brand and marketing for that. And then of course just continually building our business, but more so in the sense, so for instance, the podcasting campaigns that we're working on, the video campaigns, really creating these into these amazing productions that all audiences and all CEOs can benefit from.
Sounds amazing. And who is it that has inspired you the most?
So I think Lady Gaga is definitely an inspirational character for me these days. I just saw her awesome speech that she did when she was accepting the Grammy, and I think for her she's the epitome of someone who's been kicked down a lot, and she was even explaining that she had a Facebook group made about her in university. Friends were saying that she was never going to be successful, but she's someone who really persevered and worked hard and just got out there and got the job done, and did it all with a smile on her face. And have you seen her documentary?
I haven't watched it yet, it's on my list of things, but she's
so good.
Definitely someone who doesn't give up, does she?
Yeah, she doesn't give up. So I think she's really inspired me these days, and she's just gotten into acting and done a fantastic job there. And probably a little bit of a different answer to what you were expecting. I'm sure you were probably expecting a business
No,
business person.
Get inspiration in any aspect of your life, don't you?
True.
So, and what is your personal motto? I don't know if it relates into your Lady Gaga being your inspiration.
I suppose it probably does to a certain extent, but my personal motto is very much about challenge the status quo. You know, I think too often we're also confined within our own box that we create ourselves, and I think it's really important to step out there, to to challenge what people think of you, and to be afraid, because then when you are afraid, that's really where the magic happens. So yeah, if I was to put that in one line, it would be challenge the status quo or settle for mediocrity.
I love it.
That could be it.
And is that different to a professional motto you have?
Professional wise, I've always lived by the motto, nothing ventured, nothing gained. And I think, in business especially, you have to be out there in some way, shape or form. You have to give some to get some, so to speak. So for instance, with our business series that we do, with our podcasting series, we're always collaborating with people. I'm always inviting other thought leaders here in the region to come on the show, and then through that they can actually see firsthand what it is that we do as an agency. So I'm always, I think it's really important in business as well to, refer, for instance. Like, it's such a little thing, but say I'm scrolling through Facebook and someone posts on Brits in Dubai. Don't ask how I snuck my way into that group. But they're probably going to kick me out now after hearing this, because obviously I'm a Kiwi. But for instance, on Brits in Dubai, someone's like, oh, I need to hire a photographer. And I'm like, oh, I know a photographer in my network. Or someone's like, oh, I need a sports massage. And, all it takes for you is to screenshot and just send it to someone you know. And I think, if we all did that, if we all kind of help each other out, like even if it came into business or if it was fruitful for them or not, I think it's such a nice feeling for them to get. They're like, oh, thanks, Briar, or, so I think it's really important that we are all sharing and giving and supporting one another in business.
Definitely. And if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that be?
I guess it would just be to trust the process a little bit. I think especially when we're young, we are quite eager to achieve, and perhaps when we don't meet those expectations, it can be very disappointing to ourselves, and I think we do disappoint ourselves. I've always been a very high achiever, so I think that, when I left university, for instance, I was super stuck in a rut. I was depressed, I was unmotivated, I was wondering what I was going to do work-wise. So because I kind of felt like this, I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll get married and just settle down and just not just be a stay-at-home mum. I completely respect stay-at-home mums. My mum's a stay-at-home mum and she works so hard. But, I'll just settle down and just do this. But, one day when I woke up, I was like, you know what, I'm not standing for this. I'm going to move to New York City. And having that guts and having that, I suppose, stepping out of my comfort zone like that, it really inspired me that with some hard work, guts and determination, I could do anything really. So I think that, if you are young and you are listening to this, it's really important that you just trust the process and just work hard and just trust that everything will somehow fall into line for you.
No, that's great. And what about if you could go forward 10 years, what would you want to tell yourself?
Stay cool.
Oh, nice. How would you describe your personal style?
So dress-wise, yeah, I like to keep it simple with dresses, to be honest. I'm very much the kind of person in the morning that hates having to put two things together, so if it's just nice and easy, I can walk out and put it on, and that's perfect. So yeah, I quite like classy. I love Cara Milan, for instance. I used to love Ted Baker. I don't really wear so much of them anymore. I love ASOS. I think here in Dubai, it's whatever you can get without going into the malls necessarily, right?
Amazing. And what do you say no to?
Cigarettes, candy. I don't know, that's probably it.
So a very healthy lifestyle.
Yeah, I try and keep it quite healthy.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And are you reading, I know you mentioned earlier you were listening to a lot of books at the moment. So are you reading or listening to something at the moment that's inspiring you?
Yes. So I'm currently listening to the 12 Rules of Life by Jordan Peterson. And it's amazing. the first chapter he talks about standing tall, and he talks about how, you know, obviously over time we've evolved as humans, but if you even look at crabs, or I think even it's lobsters he talks about, but if you look at lobsters and the way that they fight, and what happens when they lose and how they sink into a submissive state and their posture goes all small, you know, it's amazing to think if you just walk in and you stand straight with your head tall, just the kind of impact that actually has on yourself internally, but also on the way your surroundings interact with you. And that's the first chapter and the first lesson and the first rule of life that he talks about. So you can only assume how interesting the rest of it is, but he's got a lot of great insights and he's a very interesting psychologist.
And for our last question, tell us how you'd like the world to remember you.
I think I just want to be remembered as someone who worked hard, someone who went out there, chased their dreams, succeeded, hopefully. And I just really want to be remembered as someone who gave more than I ever got. I want to start doing a lot more volunteer work. I want to build a community that helps aid those less fortunate. And yeah, I guess I've got a lot of things I want to squeeze in my life. But, you know, I definitely want to be remembered as someone and be remembered for a legacy of some sorts.
Oh, amazing. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.